When 5-year-old Wyatt Kelce stood in front of her kindergarten class that Monday morning, no one expected her tiny voice to shake two of the most famous people in America. She smiled proudly, swinging her pigtails. "My Aunt Taylor told me a secret," she announced. And by the time her teacher realized what she said next, the damage was already done. Taylor-Swift, pregnant. At least, that's what Wyatt told 23 kindergartners before snack time. At 10:47 a.m., Kylie Kelce's phone rang. Leawood Elementary, the caller ID read. Her heart dropped. Every mom knows that feeling, the one that tightens your chest before you even answer. "Mrs. Kelce, this is Miss Rodriguez," came a careful, two-measured voice. "Wyatt is fine physically, but there's been an incident." Kylie froze mid-step, laundry basket in her arms. "What kind of incident?" The woman hesitated. "Wyatt's been telling her classmates that her Aunt Taylor told her she's having a baby, and that it's a secret from her Uncle Travis." The world tilted sideways. Taylor-Swift, pregnant, and she hadn't told Travis? Kylie set the laundry basket down, her pulse racing. Taylor had been over for dinner 3 nights ago, laughing, glowing, completely normal. No way she was hiding a pregnancy, right? But if Wyatt was saying this, it meant someone at school had already heard it. And if someone had heard it, someone would post it. And if someone posted it, it would be everywhere by sunset. Kylie grabbed her keys. "I'm on my way. Please, don't let anyone talk to Wyatt until I get there." The 12-minute drive felt like 12 hours. Her mind ran wild. Had Taylor and Travis even talked about kids? Had Wyatt overheard something private? Or worse, had Taylor said something innocent that got twisted in a 5-year-old's head? When Kylie burst into the school office, she saw Wyatt swinging her legs in a chair too big for her. Her little face lit up. "Mommy, I didn't do anything bad, I promise." Kylie knelt beside her. "You're not in trouble, sweetheart," she said gently. "But we need to talk about what you told your class." Wyatt's face scrunched. "Aunt Taylor told me a secret. She said I was special enough to know." Kylie swallowed. "What did Aunt Taylor say exactly?" Wyatt thought. "We were baking cookies last week. I asked if she wanted to have little girls like me. She said someday she hopes she can have a little girl just like me, and that Uncle Travis would be a great daddy. Then she said not to tell him yet, so I thought it was a surprise." Kylie exhaled, half laughing, half crying. So that was it. A simple dream, twisted into a full-blown rumor by a 5-year-old's imagination. Kylie buckled Wyatt into the back seat and sat behind the wheel, her mind spinning. How do you even start a conversation like this? "Hey Taylor, your 5-year-old niece just told her entire kindergarten class you're pregnant?" No. She needed to breathe first. She needed to warn Taylor before the internet did. Kylie hit call. The line rang 3 times before Taylor's soft, distracted voice answered. "Hey Kai, sorry, I'm in the middle of a recording session. Everything okay?" Kylie swallowed hard. "Taylor, I need you not to panic." "Okay," Taylor said slowly. "What happened?" Kylie took a deep breath. "Wyatt told her entire class that you're pregnant." Silence. The kind that fills a room, even through a phone. Then Taylor spoke, her voice trembling. "What?" "I know," Kylie said quickly. "She misunderstood something you told her, but it spread at school, and I wanted to tell you before it leaks." Taylor's voice came back, softer this time. "Kylie, I am definitely not pregnant." "I figured," Kylie said, half laughing, half panicking. "But apparently, Wyatt told the kids that you said not to tell Travis because you wanted it to be a surprise." Another pause. Then Taylor whispered, "Oh my God." "Kylie, I did tell her not to tell Travis, but not because of a baby. Because her voice cracked, "because I've never actually talked to him about kids. Not seriously. Had I hoped to have a little girl like her one day. And then I said, don't tell Uncle Travis, because I was embarrassed. Embarrassed that I told a 5-year-old something I hadn't even told the man I love." Kylie could hear the emotion breaking through her voice now. Taylor, you've been together almost 2 years, she said gently. You really never talked about it? Not seriously. I was scared. What if he doesn't want kids? Or worse, what if he does, but not with me? Kylie's heart ached at the raw honesty in Taylor's tone. She wasn't Taylor Swift, the superstar, right now. She was just a woman terrified of asking the one question that could change everything. Kyle, Taylor whispered, voice trembling. What if this ruins us? Kylie took a deep breath. Honey, I think it might save you. Taylor went silent. Then, softly, I'll fly home tonight. Kylie smiled to herself, glancing at Wyatt, who was humming Shake It Off in the back seat. Good. Come home. You two need to talk. When Kylie hung up, she leaned her head against the steering wheel. The crisis wasn't over. But maybe, just maybe, this little misunderstanding was the best thing that could have happened. 2 hours later, Travis called. His voice was calm but tense. Hey, Kai. What's going on with Wyatt and Taylor? Kylie took a deep breath. Travis, it's a misunderstanding. Wyatt told her class Taylor's pregnant. She's not. But Taylor did say something about kids that she asked Wyatt not to tell you. There was a beat of silence. Then Travis's voice softened. So, Taylor's talking about kids? Yes, Kylie said. And she's flying home tonight. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Then, quietly, Kai, be honest. Are we okay? Kylie smiled through the tears she didn't expect. You're better than okay, Travis. You just don't know it yet. That night, Taylor boarded a private jet back to Kansas City. As the plane lifted into the sky, she stared out the window, her reflection shimmering in the glass. Her mind played every what if. What if he doesn't want that future? What if I lose him for saying the wrong thing? But deep down, under the fear, was something stronger hope. And maybe, just maybe, a 5-year-old had given her the courage to stop dreaming in secret and start living in truth. When Taylor's plane touched down that evening, she didn't go straight to Travis's house. She went somewhere else first, to fix the story at its source. And that decision would change everything. Taylor's plane touched down at 5:47 p.m. Outside, the Kansas sky burned orange and pink, one of those sunsets that look almost scripted. Her driver opened the door. Home, Miss Swift? She hesitated. No, Taylor said softly. Take me to Leawood Elementary. By the time she stepped inside, the school halls were empty, just a faint echo of children's laughter fading from hours earlier. Miss Rodriguez, the assistant principal, looked up from her desk and froze. Miss Swift? Taylor smiled nervously. Hi, I'm here about what happened with Wyatt today. Miss Rodriguez blinked, clearly starstruck but trying to stay composed. I wasn't expecting you. I know, Taylor said gently. But I need to fix this. Tomorrow's career day, right? Yes, but wait. Are you saying... Taylor nodded. I'd like to speak to the kids myself. To clear things up. To teach them something important about dreams and secrets. Miss Rodriguez stared at her for a long moment, then smiled. You really are who people say you are. Taylor exhaled. Just, please don't tell anyone I'm coming, especially not Travis. Consider it done, Miss Rodriguez said with a wink. At 6:30 p.m., Taylor finally arrived at Travis's house. He was already pacing the living room, phone in hand. The second she walked through the door, he rushed to her. Are you okay? I'm fine, Taylor said, breathless, eyes glassy. But we need to talk. They sat together on the couch close, but not touching. Taylor told him everything. The cookie baking, the conversation, the misunderstood secret, the embarrassment of realizing she'd confessed her heart's deepest wish to a 5-year-old before she ever said it to him. Travis listened in silence. When she finally stopped, he took her hands. Taylor, he said quietly, you think I haven't thought about that? She looked up. You have? Every day. He smiled faintly. I imagine teaching our son how to throw a football. I imagine our daughter singing her first song in front of her class. I think about it all the time, and I've been terrified to bring it up because I didn't want to pressure you. You've got the world chasing you. I didn't want you to think I wanted to cage you. Taylor's eyes filled with tears. You're not caging me, she whispered. You're the only thing that's ever made me feel free. They laughed through their tears, realizing the irony it took a kindergartner's rumor to make two adults finally talk about what they really wanted. When they finally stopped laughing, Taylor brushed his cheek. Tomorrow, she said softly, I'm going to talk to Wyatt's class. Travis grinned. Need a co-teacher? Taylor smiled. You read my mind. The next morning, 23 kindergartners sat cross-legged on the colorful rug, waiting for their career day speaker. The door opened, and every tiny jaw in the room dropped. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce walked in hand in hand. Good morning, everyone, Taylor said, kneeling down to eye level. I'm Aunt Taylor, and this is Uncle Travis, and we're here to talk about something very important. Wyatt looked terrified. Taylor smiled at her gently. Yesterday, Wyatt told you something she thought was a secret. But here's the thing, sometimes dreams sound a lot like secrets, and we get them mixed up. She looked around the room, her voice warm, kind, certain. When Wyatt and I were baking cookies, I told her about a dream I have that someday I'd like to have kids. And I asked her not to tell Uncle Travis because I wanted to share that dream with him myself when the time was right. But I didn't mean it was happening now. The kids listened like it was story time. So, Taylor said, smiling, the difference between a dream and a secret is that a secret is something that's real and happening right now, and a dream is something we hope for in the future. Understand? Wyatt raised her hand slowly. So, it's like when I dream about being a princess, but I'm not a princess yet? Taylor grinned. Exactly. The kids all nodded, their tiny heads bobbing like they'd just learned the biggest truth in the world. Then Travis knelt beside Taylor. And because of Wyatt's mix-up, he said, smiling at the kids, Aunt Taylor and I got to have a really important grown-up conversation. Sometimes kids remind us to talk about the things that matter. Laughter filled the room, the sweet kind that only comes from innocence and relief. But as Taylor looked at Wyatt, something shifted inside her. She realized the little girl hadn't just started chaos. She'd started clarity. And that clarity might change everything. That night, as the family gathered for dinner, Taylor and Travis made a quiet promise. A promise that someday, when their dream became real, the first person they'd tell wouldn't be the press, it would be Wyatt. That evening, the Kelce family gathered for dinner at Jason and Kylie's house. The table was full laughter, noise, kids running in circles, the smell of barbecue and candles. But underneath the chaos, something deeper hung in the air. Peace. Jason raised his glass. To Wyatt, he said with a grin, the world's youngest relationship counselor. Everyone laughed, clinking glasses. Wyatt beamed, not really understanding the joke but loving the attention anyway. Taylor leaned over and kissed her niece's cheek. Thank you, troublemaker, she whispered. You saved me from myself. Wyatt giggled. Did I help you and Uncle Travis stop being scared? Taylor smiled softly. Yeah, you did. Later that night, when the kids were asleep and the house had gone quiet, Taylor and Travis sat out on the back patio under a blanket of stars. The air was cool, still. Taylor's head rested on his shoulder. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For not freaking out, for listening, for dreaming with me. Travis smiled. You kidding? I've been dreaming with you since the first night we met. She laughed quietly. You mean when you tried to give me your number on a friendship bracelet? He grinned. Best risk I ever took. Taylor looked up at the sky, the same one she'd sung about in so many songs. Real love isn't the perfect parts, she said. It's the messy ones, the misunderstandings, the panic calls, the things that scare us into being honest. Travis nodded. Yeah, It's the moments that make us talk even when it's hard. They sat there for a long time, the silence comfortable now. No fame, no cameras, just two people finally on the same page. 6 months later, the world woke up to breaking news. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, expecting their first child. The internet went wild. But before the public statements, the exclusive interviews, the PR chaos, there was one phone call. Taylor dialed a familiar number. "Hi, honey," she said when Wyatt picked up. "Guess what?" "What?" Wyatt squealed. "Remember that dream we talked about? It's coming true." There was a long pause, and then a gasp. "You mean the baby dream?" Taylor smiled through tears. "That's the one." Wyatt screamed so loud that Jason ran into the room thinking something was wrong. Taylor laughed, holding the phone away from her ear. "Can I tell my class?" Wyatt shouted. Taylor laughed again. "Yes, sweetie, you can finally tell your class." When their daughter was born, Taylor held the tiny bundle close and whispered, "Welcome home, little one." Travis looked at her with tears in his eyes. "She's perfect," he said, "just like you." And when the nurse asked about her middle name, Taylor smiled. "Wyatt," she said softly. "Her name is Grace Wyatt Kelce." Because sometimes the purest kind of love doesn't come from the stage or the stadium. It comes from the messy, beautiful, honest chaos of family. And from one little girl who didn't know the difference between dreams and secrets, but somehow understood love better than anyone else.